Hello, everyone. Welcome to Storytime with Holly. My name is Holly, and I'm here in my book nook. Today's book is called Dear Santa, Love, Rachael Rosenstein. Let's check it out.
Rachael Rosenstein loved Christmas. She loved the 1,000 twinkly lights that went up in her neighborhood, the ginormous Christmas tree in the town square, and the store windows crowded with Santas, elves, candy canes, glittery tinsel, and piles of presents wrapped in shiny, beautiful paper. Everyone on her block celebrated Christmas. Everyone except for Rachael Rosenstein. The Rosensteins didn't celebrate Christmas because they were Jewish. Being Jewish was fun most of the time. It meant you got to hunt for the afikomen on Passover, blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, and get a present a day for all 8 days of Hanukkah, not to mention as many latkes as you could eat. It meant that when they celebrated Shabbat, Rachael and her friends and family passed around the challah and said the same blessings that Papa Murray said as a child, and his papa before that, and his papa before that, and on until Rachel's head began to spin. But when Christmas came to town, Rachael felt like a kid in a candy store with no mouth. "Can we please put up some lights this year?" she asked, staring out the window at her best friend Tina's house. "No," said her mom. "How about a tree? Emily Berenbaum's family has a tree and they're Jewish." "You can't sit on 2 horses with one behind," said Papa Murray. "I can," said her mom, "especially after that meal." That night, Rachael wrote a secret letter. "Dear Santa, I live in the brick house on Huntley Drive. Yes, the one with no holiday decorations. It does have a chimney, and there will be cookies waiting if you come down it. I've been really good all year, and I know that you are a fair person and will not mind that I am Jewish. After all, so was Jesus, at least on his mother's side. Love, Rachael Rosenstein." "Christmas is less than a week." Rachael looked up to find her sister Hannah hanging off the top bunk. "There's no way that letter's going to get to the North Pole in time." Hannah had a point. As luck would have it, a couple of days later, Tina's mom asked if Rachael would like to tag along to see Santa at the mall. "Did you get my letter?" Rachael asked when it was her turn. "I sure did," said Santa. "Remind me of what it said." "Are you coming to my house even though I'm Jewish?" "Time for a picture," said an elf. Click, click, flash. For a moment, Rachael couldn't see. The next thing she knew, someone else was on Santa's lap. Now Christmas was only 1 day away. Santa was going to skip over Rachel's house unless she did something radical. There was just one thing missing: cookies for Santa. In the kitchen there were no cookies, only leftover latkes. Rachael pressed some chocolate chips into them and tried one. It was good. Better than good. She ate 3 more and put the last one out for Santa with a glass of milk. The Rosensteins were ready for Christmas. Rachael stayed awake as long as she could, lying in her bed listening for the clip-clop of Santa's reindeer on the roof. Visions of sugar plum fairies danced in her head. But the next morning, there were no piles of presents. "My shirt!" Hannah cried. "What did you do to my favorite shirt?" "Hey, what's all the commotion?" asked Mom. "Christmas is stupid and so is Rachael!" yelled Hannah. Rachael cried. Across the street, She could see Tina's family in their pajamas, opening the presents Santa had brought for them. Her mom sat down next to her. Sometimes, no matter how badly we want something, we just have to accept what is. Okay? I gotta get to work. Nobody else's mom works on Christmas, Rachael said. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean there aren't sick kids at the hospital. The world doesn't stop. Rachael cleaned up her mess. Later that afternoon, her dad took them to the park, which was practically empty. And for dinner, they took Papa Murray to the Chinese place they went to every Christmas. Papa Murray ate chicken feet that looked exactly like chicken feet. Rachel's dad stuck chopsticks up his nose like a walrus. Don't try this at home. Rachael tried to eat her favorite salty dumplings, but she was too sad. Then she saw some familiar faces. Lucy Dang from her class, and Mike Rashid and Amina Singh. What are you guys doing here? We don't celebrate Christmas, and this is the only place that's open, said Mike. You celebrate Hanukkah too? No, said Lucy, but Chinese New Year is in a few weeks. Amina said, we celebrate Diwali. It's the Festival of Lights. Hanukkah's the Festival of Lights, said Rachael. I celebrate my birthday, said Lucy's little sister. The older kids laughed. That doesn't count. Everyone does that. And Rachael realized, when there were so many great holidays in the world, why feel so bad about one little old day like Christmas? Well, maybe she could feel a tiny bit bad.
Well, thank you for joining me for this week's Storytime with Holly, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Bye.